So here we have day 7, Walpole to Augusta, 248 kilometres planned. So we left Walpole down the bottom here. Actually, our accommodation was in the forest somewhere, so we came down to Walpole for a morning coffee and then along the main road. And then we split here. There was a back road up here that was a track. So Dave on the GS and myself in the Land Cruiser went this way, and the other guys went on the main road. This was a fantastic track. If you ever get a chance to explore down here, it's well worth it. It was a really nice track, and there's a fantastic picnic area in here as well. Then we joined the main road here, and then at Shannon we cut off through the back roads, up through here close to Lake Jasper, and then cut across down into Scott River and into the back of East Augusta there. That was a nice road there. We couldn't actually start it because here the road gets really, it's almost like overgrown. So we actually went up the road a little bit and then cut back down and then took the remaining road on the way through. And so basically the road's pretty overgrown at the start here. I think you'd actually be okay. Could I get the Land Cruiser through? I probably could have got the Land Cruiser through, but it would have been scratched to hell on the bushes. So I turned around and came back. The guys didn't want to go on either because the road looked like it was getting worse and worse. So we came back, went up the main road and then cut back onto it. And then had the night in Augusta. And then day 8. So day 8 was basically from Augusta, just hammering back. Stopped in Dunsborough for a coffee. So we just came basically straight back to Perth. That's a 376 kilometre day. So we just hammered back to Perth on the main roads and freeway. Dave had to take his bike back in here. So I took Dave with his bike to drop it off, and then we headed back to Perth. So day 8 was a nothing day really. And I haven't got any video of that, it's just the main roads. But this day, day 7, was really nice. So let's have a look at the video and see what it looks like. So here we are heading to Walpole just to refuel. And then we'll head along the coast to Augusta. It poured of rain last night, so these dirt roads might be a little bit slippy. There's a lot of clay on the roads, and these guys have got road tyres on, so we'll see how we go. Going along the edge of I think it's the Franklin National Park here. It's another dirt road. It's not too bad actually, it's not too slippy. Dave's gone smashing ahead, so that's good. He must be getting plenty of grip. And it's a formed road, so it must be okay. And here's Bruce wanting to chat. He obviously doesn't want to come in here. Brucey! So here we go. Little bridge. Davey's stopped for a rest, obviously. This is quite
nice run through here, isn't it?
This is a good road actually.
Great, isn't it?
The boys have chickened.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Why?
Going down the main road.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, well, we'll carry on.
It's a great
It's
road.
Awesome.
The sandy bit at the top was nice,
It's
wasn't
sandy,
it?
yeah. But just take it easy.
Yeah, that's what I said to them. I said, just take it easy. You got all day. Anyway. So one of the lessons on this trip actually is the GS keeps getting a bit short of fuel. It's always on the edge of its limits. So if you're going to do any reasonable touring, I would suggest you get a GSA or a Suzuki with a 25 or 30 litre tank, obviously. Because we're in Western Australia, it gets pretty remote. So yeah, make sure you've got a reasonable fuel range. I think the GSA's got about 300 kilometres and it's always on the edge of just running out. And I did notice with my Suzuki I've got about 400 as well, and it's similar. You're always getting a bit of range anxiety in Western Australia. It's just so remote. So yeah, if I was getting another BMW, I'd get a GSA with a bigger tank. That doesn't seem to have as many problems. Bit heavier, but it's horses for courses as usual. This is a great road. Yeah, glad we've come this way. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but these bushes are out in flower at the end of summer. Absolutely beautiful. The orange bushes. I don't know what they are actually, I've never seen them before. It's actually quite a well used road this, I don't know what it's used for. Maybe it's logging or something. But it's this is a bit of a win, this road actually, for the boys. Well, for Dave. the other guys chickened out and went down the road. They don't know what they're missing. This road's been fantastic. I can't believe Garmin worked for once. So it's yeah, it's a good road, and it's actually worth following. It looks like there could be old logging roads that are kept open or something like that. Some of the side roads are a bit dodgy, to be honest. And so Garmin still shows a lot of these side roads as roads, but they're actually closed. So you just have to find your own way off. We're actually about 1.8 kilometres off track at the moment, so I'm using tracks in my Garmin. That's my Garmin off my Suzuki, and I don't know if you can see it, but basically it's 1.8 kilometres. The track is actually running down beside us, but that was a dodgy road and I wasn't going to take the Land Cruiser up it, so we've come this way, and this road's fantastic. So we'll just follow this road to the end. It'll probably join the main highway again, and then we'll head for probably coffee in Northcliffe or something like that. This must have been a bit bloody sketchy when they, if it wasn't a bridge. I suppose you could have crossed to the rocks. This is pretty neat, this. How cool is this?
Summer, you could have a little swim here, couldn't you?
Well, I think there's a picnic site just down there. Yeah, it's on the GPS. Back in GPS. But you've nailed it with bloody tracks and waypoints. That's the way to go.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
I know. And it's good the water's flowing.
I know. Kangaroos. We'll take it a bit steady.
Here comes Davey, missed the track again. Tell you something, that bike he's riding has got road tyres on it, and he's fucking hammering along on that, so he's doing pretty well with road tyres. It's actually a hire bike, so if the hire company is watching, don't be worried, he hasn't dropped it yet. Looks like the sun's coming out now, so we're getting a bit of a wind along the main road. You're getting into all the big tall trees now. Absolutely beautiful here in the national park. I think this is the Shannon National Park if I recall. So it's, as I said, a lovely day. Things are looking a bit drier to the west, so that could be a bit of a win. Heading off to Pemberton now after having coffee at Northcliffe. The forests here are absolutely fantastic and the sun's out, which makes it better. So the boys have sprinted away as usual, and I'll catch them up in Pemberton. But it's a beautiful day now. I'm going through all the tall trees down in Pemberton here, which is just magical. Again, just a little gravel road bypass. Fucking corrugations. Seriously, pretty part of the world up here. That's Bruce in front. He's got 2080 road tyres on, I think, so good tyres, but they're I think he's skating about on the gravel a little bit. This is just a track into the back of Augusta. We couldn't start this track because it was all blocked off with new growth. And so we came along the road a little bit and then cut down into Danish Road, and then we're going to try and get through this way. You have to go back to the highway anyway. You can't get across the river this way, so we'll come along here. We've come in about 5k, I think. We'll come along this track and then head back out to the highway and then go into Augusta. It's just an alternative route. Right, that was the last night. Here we are leaving Augusta, just heading up now. It's gets a bit populated now on the way, and so really it's just bitumen roads, I think, until we reach Perth, and that's the trip over. I think that was a successful trip. Taking the cruiser was a good idea for me because it got me out, and I think the boys appreciate it. I could carry a lot of luggage and food, which was good. And we had decent meals rather than pies and things like that, which makes a difference. But yeah, so here we are just heading back to Perth now. This is the Caves Road tourist trail, and as I said, it's just all foreign bitumen roads now through the forests, and then it'll start to get really populated up towards Dunsborough. But I think the boys have had a great time. I think we've decided to do it every year on the Anzac Day weekend, so that's so we can attend a different service somewhere. And so yeah, good trip had by all. The sun's just come out as we're coming through the Jarrah trees. Oh, there's a boy stopped for something. This is Prevelly, and the Margaret River pro's on today, I think, so the surf break is down on the corner here. You can see it's breaking offshore a little bit. And so it looks like all the tents are set up for the pros. April 23rd, there you go. There's no way I'll get a car park down here, so I'll be literally looping round and coming straight back. We'll have a look what it looks like at the surf break if I can get my camera out. That's the Margaret River mouth, And I'm coming round to the main break out there. You can see there's quite a collection of surfers out there. Quite an impressive wave actually. And there's all the competition tents and power and what have you. Looks like they've got a good swell for today. We've had some bad weather, so that would send the swell up. So that's the last of the videos. 7 or 8 days, 7 days having fun, and the 8th day just hammering back to Perth. So I thought I'd put in some lessons here for the future before I forget. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lessons I've sort of thought about. GPS, that was a good one because we were getting rerouted constantly in the first day. So don't use routes, use tracks and waypoints. You can export a track from a route in Basecamp and then export the track to your GPS, and that'll stop your rerouting problems. BMWs, they're great bikes that can do a lot, but the lessons from this trip were where they're big and heavy and they'll eventually bog down when the going gets soft or technical. Pick your route for your weapon of choice. So if your weapon of choice is a BMW, you're not going to pick some of these soft track sands, and if you want to do some of the soft track sands, then probably a small DR or a KTM might be a better choice. Fuel anxiety, look, we had some fuel anxiety. The GSAs had no issues, they've got big tanks. The GS had a few low fuel issues. It did seem to have quite high fuel usage as well, which surprised us. If you're going to go these sort of distances, you need probably about 25 litres minimum. Go for 30 litres if you can. So I'll be fitting a Safari tank to the Suzuki. I've only got a 20 litre Acerbi or a Cerbis or whatever you call them on my bike, so I'm going to plan getting the 30 litre Safari tank. Nothing worse than having fuel anxiety when you're riding along. Camping. Look, I'm glad we didn't. We would have got soaked, especially down south when the heavens opened up. We stayed in motels, cabins and Airbnb, and that worked out really well. Pick your season for camping, I guess, if you're going to go camping, but you can't stop the weather really. Support vehicle. Look, this was unusual, but it did make the trip so much easier. I carried the food. We had a morning break with coffee. And we had biscuits or muesli bars, and we had lunch, usually wraps and chicken or something, and I could carry fresh fruit and vegetables, and obviously I can carry cold beers as well and all the wine. So the support vehicle actually made the trip a lot easier. I think the group size is interesting. We had a great group. 4 of us are very compatible, similar experience, or some of us more experienced, less experienced, and similar-minded people. And it was easier to cater for a smaller group, so we didn't have that too much food that we had to carry. Sorry. I think a few things I have read on forums is watch out if your groups get big, because conflicts can arise. You know, some people like getting up in early in the morning. Some people like staying late at night, and so you can get some conflicts if the group gets too big. We were 4 people. It worked out pretty well. So that's it. So, you know, make sure you use your GPS properly. Make sure you pick your weapon of choice or your route. Fuel anxiety, go big tank. You don't have to fill it up if you don't need to, but you've always got it if required. Camping, yeah, camping's fun, but you carry a lot of stuff, and the weather can make it miserable. Support vehicle, it was a win, but you can't get that every time. And the good size of group, I think smaller tends to be better. Once it gets too big, it just gets too hard to manage. So there's some lessons from me. I'm sure the guys have got some other lessons, and but it was a great trip. So I'll just finish off this video with some of the stills, and that's the trip for April this year. Thanks for watching.